Mandii B, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Really?
And it's finally making it happen.
Yeah, finally. I've been seeing you all over the place. Atlanta, New York. Have you took a day off since then?
I take days off as needed, but no, I am often working and traveling.
Happy birthday. You pulled
Thank
up on
you.
your birthday.
I know. I'm here on my birthday. It's funny. I was talking to my friend Asante today, and he said, you know, they actually say working on your birthday is good luck.
Well, you love to pod, so I'm sure that
Right,
could create
but this
good
is still
luck.
kind of like work. I had it in my calendar. So that means...
You know what's crazy?
You know?
Not to take them too much behind the curtain, but you picked a day.
Yeah, I told you. I already have... Tonight I'm actually doing like a fundraiser. I'm doing Paddle of the Sexes. And I forgot, I don't have my phone on me. But it's going towards some charity. And I'm doing that tonight from 7 to 11.
Nice.
So,
You're really working.
Yeah, no, I'm doing... I was like, okay, I can do it today.
You doing some recreation in between
What do you,
time?
no. I'm someone who actually has been against celebrating birthdays for a while. And
Are
I
you
think
denying the inevitable?
No. Well, no. I love making it to another year of life, but I think the expectations that you have on people to celebrate you or show up to a party or show up to dinner, I don't want to feel let down.
100%.
I don't want to feel like I have to question someone's space in my life on a day that's supposed to mean a lot. So to me, just the expectations around how everyone else is supposed to show up for me, and if they don't meet my expectations, I'm going to feel let down. I don't want to feel let down or disappointed on my birthday. So I literally remove all those expectations and don't want to celebrate it.
Also, it feels like work organizing that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, it's a
like,
pain
are you
in the
coming?
ass.
Is he coming?
It's
Is
a
she
pain
coming?
in the ass.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful.
Yeah.
So I've literally gotten to the point where I don't want to do it. I'm against birthday dinners. I don't want 11 people who don't know each other to show up and then have to split the bill, because it doesn't matter how old you get, no one knows how to include tax and tip into splitting a goddamn bill. So
Oh my God.
Yeah, I hate it. I'm not dealing with this. Someone wants to talk about, I only ate an appetizer. Why am I spending this much?
That's a vibe killer.
So I'm not doing it. I have individual friends that are like, I'm taking you out on your birthday.
That's dope.
And so I do individual things with my individual friends, and that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You actually started in sports.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. It's crazy because it was still a form of media. So Full Court Pumps was fullcourtpumps.com. I started that in 2010. And I had Robert Littell from Black Sports Online. He was my mentor who kind of helped me build it out and monetize it. And then through that, I was able to be like credentialed media with the Orlando Magic and went to the ESPY Awards and all the like fun things. And then I ended that probably around like 2014, 2015.
Were you focused more on the game or the stories around the game?
So what's crazy is I really wanted to make it, because I was like, let me highlight these guys off the court and talk about, their charities and the things that they do for the community. Sounds good. When you get into it, you understand your views and clicks don't work like that. So I got the biggest views and clicks on like stories about who is dating who and all that. So it ended up turning more, and mind you, this is like media takeout era. This is TMZ, media takeout. This is Sandra Rose. This is Nicole Bitchie, the era of the blogs. And so unfortunately, I leaned into, because I wanted to make money, I leaned into more of the gossipy realm of sports, because this is, of course, athletes were celebrities as well.
Yeah.
So I was, getting all the tea in there.
You know what's crazy? What I realized about content? Everybody thinks they're smart, that they want smart content.
They
but
don't.
What they really want
They don't.
is the dumb shit.
They want the mess. They want the mess. They want to feel connected to the people that they look up to, or they want to witness a downfall. What is it? Misery loves company. People love to see that these celebrities and stars and athletes and millionaires have bad days too. And so, yeah, I was a part of, unfortunately, that cycle where I was highlighting the things that, would go viral.
Yeah.
So, and then, I stopped that to go to school. I was like, okay, don't want to be a blogger anymore. This is a lot of work and I don't love it anymore. So I'm going to go to school and get a real job. So I went back to school in 2014 and graduated in 2018 with 2 degrees.
Yeah, you're like in the mix now. Like I always see you out. What did that life look for you back then? Was it the same? Were you always out, or you kind of like stayed within yourself and your show?
Oh no, I was always out. I lived in Miami and Atlanta.
Ooh.
Yeah. But at that time, I put a face to my blog. So it was a lot of athletes kicking me out of their section and shit like that. And people being like, yo,
Put your phones away.
Oh,
Keep
yeah,
her away.
Yeah, like, can I pull you to the side? Can we make sure nothing around here gets put onto the blogs? And I was like, bro, it's not going to. But no, I feel like I've always like been outside. Like I enjoy life. I don't have kids, and I've lived.
And you never want kids. I understand.
I don't want kids. Yeah. No, don't want kids. I feel like my babies are my business. Ooh. So I just keep having those. Yeah.
Okay. How did the sports transition to that now, to everything you're doing today?
I mean, to me,
because it's like, it kind of seems like a drastic shift, but I guess maybe you blended it together.
No, it wasn't actually. It wasn't too drastic.
Okay.
So it's still multimedia. It's still in that era or that arena, right? So I just went to blogging, and actually my very first podcast that I actually did was a sports podcast. Not many people know it.
Really? What was the name
of it? It was
called
Point Taken, and it was me, Lamar Woodley, who is a Super Bowl champion from the Steelers, and Thousand, who's a radio personality
virtually
from
or
Pittsburgh.
in person?
This was virtually.
Okay.
So we were doing, because we all lived in different locations, which is also what made it hard. It was before Riverside. It was before all of the great like technology that we have now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the Point Taken podcast, and it was a lot because at the time I was still in school. This was 2016. This was 2016. And so we had, I don't know, we probably did like 20, 25 episodes or something like that. It wasn't consistent. Again, it was before we actually knew what the fuck we were doing.
Right.
But yeah, I'll send you the cover art for it. It's funny because I just came across it. So we did that for a little bit, and we talked about sports. And it's funny because Lamar would always hit me with well, you haven't been on the field. So it was one of those where it's like, oh, so as a consumer of sports and a listener, and clearly I played too. I played at D3 college. I
played basketball?
No, I played basketball, volleyball, and track. Thank you very much. I did AAU growing up. Yeah. So I've always been like a sports consumer and fan. So I don't like that you're looking at me that way. Yes, I played. Yes, I did play. That is crazy that you were looking at me that way.
I didn't do enough research.
That is crazy. Yeah.
Okay. You played college basketball.
I played college volleyball.
Okay.
I didn't play.
You played high school basketball.
High school and AAU.
Yeah. So what have you made of the conversation, the treatment of Caitlin Clark?
You know what's crazy? I just hate that the conversation is more a black and white race conversation, because she is a great athlete. And to be fair, all so many people have wanted is for the WNBA to get the recognition that it's getting, for those players to get the bag and get the money that they deserve. And I don't care the color of the person doing it as a woman. You know what I mean? So I hate that the conversation has leaned more into her versus Angel Reese. And it's really a black and white thing. And knowing that she got the deal that she got with Nike, I believe it was, and the recognition, it has people talking about the sport. So I don't know. The conversations around it, I mean, to me, I get it. People want the entertainment. People want to debate everything. But I love what she's done for the sport. And I just hate that Kobe isn't here to see it. Like, I just keep saying that. Like, knowing what him and
the
WNBA
daughter, explosion in general, right?
In general. But he, to me, was, especially because he had all girls and his daughter played. And we know that he was in the forefront trying to get people to really respect the game. I love to see, where it's at now. And I'm mad that I haven't been to a Liberty game yet, because I do also love that
one recently.
New York women's basketball is alive and thriving. I love it.
Yeah. With Caitlin, one more thing. You were a hooper, right? So when you see her opponents being that physical with her, like,
I don't mind that. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Because I watch sports. I don't want a prissy game. Now, don't be intentional. I don't like ever. Who's the guy? I can't remember his name, and I'm a huge Duke fan. They used to have. He went 4 years.
Christian Laettner?
No. Recent. And he often tricked
Grayson
people.
Allen.
Grayson Allen.
Yeah.
And he did get into the league. But Grayson Allen would almost intentionally hurt people. So if those girls are going out there to intentionally hurt Caitlin Clark, then no. Absolutely not for that. But I love a little grit. And I don't, and I like that that's what I think the men talk about. They talk about the WNBA and women's sports being soft and not being as gritty. Yes, I know y'all want to see them dunk and do all the cool shit too. I know they're sick of the layups, but I like a little aggression. I like a little, you know.
Do you think we need more of that in the modern game on the men's and the women's side?
What do you mean?
Physicality.
Oh yeah, like first off, me growing up, let's be very clear. I grew up watching, I mean, shit, the Pistons when they got into the brawl.
The bad boys.
Hello?
Oh, no, that's the Mouse of the Palace.
Yeah, I'm talking about.
Oh, you're not that old.
No, I'm not that old. The way you were trying to make me old between Christian Laettner and I'm like, whoa, calm down.
It's your birthday.
I am a millennial. I'm like I was not the Michael Jordan era of basketball. My era was, of course, the Kobe's, like when Tracy McGrady was being compared to which one is it? Tracy? Is it Kobe? So the era of like when he was out here dropping fucking
yeah,
stupid.
that was a thing.
That was a thing at one point.
Yeah, people forget that was a thing.
I know, I fucking hate it. But I'm from Orlando, so
okay.
So the way that I view Tracy McGrady growing up is probably a lot different. But no, that was a thing at one point.
Yeah, it was.
It was. But wow, yeah, you're trying to make me really old. But no, I'm here for the physicality of all the things. I mean, I think it's so crazy that like it's looked at bad because anytime I watch, and not to make it a race thing, but hockey, bro. Anytime I've turned on a hockey game, them motherfuckers be fighting. Yeah, and then we also see AEW and WWE and even what is the other one? MMA?
Yeah.
Like
UFC. No, that's real, but the other two are
that's real. Yeah. But I'm like, this is what people are liking to see.
Yeah, people are barbaric and they have a dark side, as you know. It's
awful to say, but honestly, this is actually it might be human nature. Let's be very clear. If we go back all the way to the Roman Empire and all the things, they literally would fight and joust and do all these things and draw blood. So I'm here for a little, intensity in sports, and I'm here for the aggression and a little bit of nudging here and there. Yeah. As long as it's not ending people's career, I'm fine with that. I mean, shit. What is the number one sport in the country? Football. And it's very aggressive.
Isn't it NASCAR?
Don't do that. It is not. Is it? No, it's the NFL. The NFL makes more money.
NASCAR.
No, it's not.
I think it's NASCAR.
Even Formula One is bigger than NASCAR now. What are we talking about? Are you serious? Are you trying to be funny? Wait, is it?
I think it
might
be.
Do we have someone to look it up? You are. Listen, I am a Googler. Okay, I need to get my Googles up. But no,
you're not working with AI. ChatGPT can probably tell you.
No, I love it. That's why I'm like, do you not have it on your phone? Because I don't like that you're saying this right now.
It might be NASCAR.
It's football.
Might not be.
There's nothing bigger than the Super Bowl, even.
Drop a comment in the section. We can make this micro content.
I would like to know.
Yeah, I think it's NASCAR.
That's crazy. Yeah. I don't think it is.
Yeah. I really wanted to talk to you about podcasting because you started all the way back in 2016.
Yes.
I started in 2017.
Okay.
Now, let me ask you this.
That's when we started Horrible, was 2017.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're almost at 8 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you kind of like messed up my thinking there. But
no, go ahead. Sorry.
It was all audio back then. And then now, if you don't have a video version of your podcast, you basically don't have a podcast.
So I disagree with that. And that is very fucking wrong. And this is why people are coming into this space, not being consistent because it gets very fucking expensive. Like to have video, live switch, multi-angles, and to have an editor for video and audio becomes very expensive. A podcast is audio.
Yes.
Period.
I agree.
It is audio forward. It's not a YouTube show.
So what do you think about people who have a show on YouTube and call it a podcast with no audio
They're
feed?
wrong. They're fucking dumb is what it is. You don't have a podcast. You have a goddamn YouTube show.
If they were smart, they would strip the audio and put it on.
That's what they should do. Yeah. But to be very fair too, when you're video focused, and I'm not going to call some pods out, but there are a lot of video...
You think this might be an old school mentality?
No, there's a lot of video pods where the audio is not that great because visually you can watch something where the audio doesn't have to be great because you're watching it.
Yes.
When it is audio only, it is very imperative that the audio is clear. You could hear everyone.
Right.
I think that's why I even sometimes want to limit. I think 4 voices is plenty on an audio podcast. Any more than 4 becomes a lot.
I personally like 2.
I like 2 too. I like 3. I do like the idea of throwing someone else out so that it's not so that you have.
You're saying 3 on 3 is better than 2 on 2 because of angles and
not even angles and dynamics. It's just that if you and I disagree, okay, there could be someone to break the ice and either pull into one direction other than the other.
Yeah, you're right. If we disagree, the whole pod could stop probably.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I hate echo chambers. So I love podcasts where two dynamics don't agree on much. Like, I still think one of the best podcasts out is Brilliant Idiots. And I think that Charlamagne and Andrew do a phenomenal job on being really opposite in their ways of thinking while also landing some comedy in there as well. I think the same with Gilly and Wallow. Those two motherfuckers are two very different people and have two different minds. And I like
when they joke on each other.
That's what I'm saying. It's hilarious. I think me and Weezy. I think that, you know, we may have some of the same ideologies in terms of things, but me and Weezy are very different in our approaches to things in life. And I think that it makes for a good podcast.
How has talking about sex on a podcast changed your life?
We were talking about this off camera. I think it's completely destroyed my dating life.
Why so?
I mean, our content is sex. Our content is kinks. And the reason why I've been able to grow and amass the audience that we have is because I've been so vulnerable with my own life. So then there's a lot where I'm sharing, if I'm doing something sexual, it's not by myself. And so the idea of my life being a little bit more public, many people are not. They're not public with a lot of their personal endeavors, and definitely not public with what they're doing behind closed doors. And I bring that kind of to the forefront. So I can understand anyone being a little, you know, intimidated or scared to deal with me or speak to me or date me. And I talk about my kinks and the things that kinks aren't something that people normally lead with or share at all between family, friends, let alone the whole world. So, yeah. And some of those are a little bit like, oh, I don't think people want everyone to know that's what they're into. So
sex seems like a broad subject, but are you saying that basically what you're doing is niche because it is about kinks? Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, I mean, Horrible Decisions, when we started it, was literally the premise was taboo conversations about sex and destigmatizing kinks within the Black community. These conversations aren't had amongst Black and brown people. And unfortunately, just because of history and the church and everything else, there's a huge stigma surrounding sexual liberation with women, homophobia within our community, and, you know, and kinks in general.
Yeah.
So those conversations aren't taught. They're not had. And so we brought, you know, a little comedic forward way of bringing those topics to life.
Do you attribute your success more to the business side of it, or are you talking into a mic? Because you do have a background as an accountant.
Yes. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That's the other thing. There's being business savvy, but there's also knowing the industry that you're in. So, I mean, up until maybe the last 3 years, I was editing the audio for the pod. Are you still ever doing thumbnails or anything like that anymore? No, not anymore. We hired a whole team.
Okay.
I still direct and manage the team and make sure they know, like, I still have my Excel sheets that I communicate to the team with, and I still run the business, but I'm doing more delegating now than actually
Isn't that a great feeling,
doing the tech. I love it.
That, like, thumbnails are getting done and you don't have to do it.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
awesome, yeah.
But in the beginning of the pod, I mean, and still to now, we actually do still book all of our own guests. We still do our own production and outlines. Just all of the post-production stuff is with a team. But I learned how to do kind of everything. Like, I opened up my own studio in Brooklyn.
Dope.
And, you know, kind of was like, okay, I know what's needed to create a pod, the multi-angle cameras and the mics and all the things. And then just learning how to do it. If someone cannot do it, I at least know I can do it if it needs to get out. So I know how to upload to the RSS feed and do the titles and the thumbnails and the you know, dynamic insertion and placing the ad markers. You got to learn, to me as a podcaster, how to do it all, not just being on the mic. I think anyone can get in front of a mic. I don't think that will necessarily bring them the success they want without knowing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, because then it becomes expensive out the gate. And to be honest, like, it's going to take quite a long time to make money in this space.
Yeah.
So whether you're doing Patreon, you have to build up an audience that wants to pay for content. Whether you're on YouTube, you get paid cents for the view on YouTube. Very hard to monetize YouTube. And then in terms of advertising, if you don't have a network, I don't know many podcasters that have been able to go out and find ways to monetize through advertisements either. There's a lot of third-party things that do that, which is what networks help with. And so it's like, how do I monetize? Even the live show route. I love New York. So many podcasters are doing the live shows, but it takes money to make money. And I think with people having a lot of bills, first off, rent, eggs, eggs still expensive. This turning a hobby or starting a business like a podcast takes a lot of money to do.
Yeah.
So,
are there any ways that people aren't getting to monetize that you feel like people could focus more on? We talk about Patreon, we talk about live shows.
I would say that. I mean, to me, and again, you still have to build your audience to do that. Like, if you only getting 1,000 views a week, or it's going to be hard to make money from 1,000 views a week.
Yeah.
It just is. But if you have a core audience, say you have 250 hardcore fans, and they really like your content, put it behind a paywall. Like I would, and I do urge new podcasters to focus on their audio numbers. That is where you are going to get a bag. That is where you are going to make your money. Then I would say Patreon. I would put video. The video element of a podcast is last. I think the biggest benefit of having your podcast on video is for Instagram Reels and marketing. And I'll tell you now, that's the biggest fucking confusion right now. I'll have people show me that they have a podcast and they go straight to showing me a viral Instagram Reel or TikTok. And like, look, my show is growing. Your show ain't shit. They watched a little 60-second clip and that went viral. But how many people went from that 60-second clip and subscribed to your RSS feed?
How do you bring it all together? That's the question.
You know what I mean?
No, I'm asking you. How do you?
I mean, it's tough because a lot of people like to consume short form content. And that's why it's so funny, because people will hop in the comments and argue with me on a take. And I'm like, y'all don't even understand. This is a cut up 60-second clip from a 10-minute conversation
100%.
that my team knows how to cut up to get y'all riled up.
Right.
It's really hard. I think you have to know how to like literally draw your audience. You need to have everything in your, you need to have a easy clickable access. So if you're going to post the clip, post it on your story. Make sure it's a clip to take them straight to the RSS feed. Make sure you have a link tree in your bio.
Yeah.
Make sure you let them know in the caption to listen to this full episode. Make sure you subscribe. I see so many times it'll be a clip and the caption will just maybe be a sentence about the topic of the clip. I don't even know what podcast this is on, where I can find it. There's nothing in the caption that says, this is from this podcast. Make sure you subscribe and listen. I don't even see that on every caption when they're posting pictures from their podcast.
It's interesting. I heard Weezy even talking about this. She says that like the new thing is not even having a podcast, just having podcast like clips for
That's it.
The gram.
It's so crazy. But
do you think somebody will be able to monetize that one day?
So here's the thing. People are actually monetizing it fairly well on TikTok.
Okay.
However, yes and no. The problem with that is TikTok doesn't like the pretty clips that we create from podcasts. TikTok wants you to literally record something straight into their app, edit on their app.
That's what the algorithm says.
And that's what and so if you're putting up something with this audio and all of these like captions from your editing team, it's just not even going to be seen or maybe shared as much on the TikTok. It's all a fucking game with the algorithm, honestly.
Yeah.
And of course, Instagram at one point was paying a lot of money for Reels, and it's so hard to hit those bonuses now too. It's just difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Why do you feel like almost everybody quits podcasting before they even basically get started?
They think they're going to get in here and be rich. They think they're going to get the $100 million deals that we see all these podcasters now getting. I think they underestimate how much work a podcast actually is.
They think you just get in here and get in front of the mic.
They be like, man, I could get on a mic and talk with my friends. We interesting. It's cool. And they don't understand, no, you're actually a producer. You have to, what are you going to talk about? You may have to be a graphic designer. Again, if you don't have a team and don't want to spend the money, you may be making your own thumbnails. You may be making your own cover art. You may be doing all of that. Then you have to be a social media manager. You have to market and figure out the statistics and algorithm of your page and what's working. Then you have to be a talent booker. Because if you're having guests, you have to communicate. How many times have you and I gone back and forth? It's, okay, make me an email or let's text, and you're booking your own guests. And then
it's tough to get Mandii on the show.
Listen, don't do that. Don't do that. It's been I've been busy, but I made sure to come. You're right. But it's just a lot, and people don't understand when they say I want to be a podcaster. They just think they want to be talent. If it's your podcast, this is a business. You got to do the paperwork. You got to get legal, and then if you start making money, you got to pay taxes.
Yeah.
And then if you're in partnership with anybody, heaven forbid, Lord, then you got to get that on paper. And I think that that's where it becomes difficult. I think people don't understand that the relationship you make with a friend is much different when that's personal than when you begin a business with them. And then it's hard to differentiate between business and personal. And yeah, you probably will end up losing a friendship if you choose to start a podcast with a friend. That's just...
Why do you say that?
Oh, why do you say that? I'm just saying, at the end of the day, all things
I'm good. That's the thing.
All things come to an end. And unfortunately, when money is involved, when ego is involved, when something crashes and burns, it's hard to end a business and maintain that friendship. So I always say, if you're willing to lose the friendship, lose the business, or lose both, be my guest. But I would never suggest for someone who really matters to you for you to start a pod or show with. Absolutely.
It's been 8 years with Horrible, though, so you're doing something right.
In what way?
It's been 8 years, right?
Yeah, and if y'all listen to a lot of the episodes, we done gone through therapy. And
but you're here.
We done had our ups and downs, well, baby, because we done monetized and the money's good. I done quit my career to pod, and I've had to pretty much be like, you know what? Every day I went to work, there were people I didn't like. I'm going to be stuck in that facet of business.
So you go through phases where you like the person and phases that you don't?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's actually
But overall, is it love?
Well, I think it's work that me and Weezy are not friends. Like, I think it's work that there's just now a strong sense of respect that we have.
Does that hurt the fans' heart when they hear you say that?
I don't give a fuck. Like, the problem is they want this cookie cutter idea. Like, can y'all go back and watch fucking documentaries on TLC and NSYNC and Backstreet Boys? There were no groups where all these motherfuckers were just the jolliest of friends.
The Locks.
You feel me? Like Griselda today, like niggas don't like each other.
No, but
like,
what I'm saying is the Locks always liked each other.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'm sure they might not let it get out.
They might have also had some turmoil, and they just probably did a wonderful job with keeping that under wraps. Right. But also when they were out, it wasn't the social media era, nigga. You had to go buy a magazine, or they had to go on a radio and talk their shit for us to hear about them. Right now, we have such more access to see what's happening with people, which is why, like, you could see a lot of your other favorite potters. Mm-hmm. Do they ever hang out, or are you just seeing them in the studio?
People are busy though too.
Okay. I'm very busy now. I hang with my audience sees me with all my friends, and my friends don't even all live in New York. I'm constantly surrounded with my friends. So
why don't you just start a pod with your friends?
No, I just said I would never. Oh, I've had friends be like, oh, let me come on. I'd be like, no, girl, I'm not hiring you because I love you too much.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm good.
Yeah, well, since you turned 27 today, I don't know if you remember before the social media era, but how do you feel like...
27 and you sitting here saying Christian Laettner. That's crazy. You mean Christian Laettner?
How do you feel the social media era changed fame?
I mean, to me, it's just a magnified, like when reality television came out, right? Mm-hmm. Like there's still, I was just watching a show where New York was on a new show. New York is from Flavor of Love, which came out when I was in high school. You know what I mean? I'm still seeing Tammy Roman, who is from The Real World. Like, I think we've always had like that connection to quote unquote regular people and turning them into celebrities. I think social media right now has been great. I love that people are finding different ways to monetize, make money. And so many people like myself get to literally make a way of living by being themselves. And I think that's incredible because I used to have to code switch in corporate America, and I didn't really like it. I never, like, we go to school, we get these degrees, and then we literally work jobs that we fucking hate for people that we fucking hate to do things with Excel sheets and all the things that we don't even really love. It's just a good check, right? And like right now, I'm literally get to travel the world and bring my friends along with it, and I'm making a really good living doing it by literally being myself. So like I said, it's kind of a double-edged sword, like oversharing and being public, but then being able to live the life I would have never imagined. And I think a lot of people are having that opportunity because of social media.
Do you think accessibility changed the mystique around some people because now you could just hit anybody in their DM?
Oh, yeah, I love it. I ain't gonna hold you. I was watching a movie the other day and I was like, ooh, he cute. Googled the cast, found his name, went to Instagram, found his Instagram, liked a couple pictures. He was in my DMs. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, no one is really off limits.
Couldn't do that in the Christian Laettner era.
Shut up. But yeah, like, I love it. Yeah, I don't think anyone seems out of touch or out of reach anymore.
100%.
Yeah, they're not.
Well, do you feel like the new way to have mystique is just stay off social? But you have to get to a certain point first, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only person who has done a phenomenal job at that, I'm going to say Beyonce and J. Cole. Those may be the most private, public people in pop culture to me right now. Everyone else is very much, posting or we're keeping up to date with their lives. And I love that J. Cole and Beyonce give us only what they want to give us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of that. But transitioning slightly.
Okay.
What's the craziest rumor you've heard about Mandii B that's untrue?
Oh my God. I think it's funny. I always say everything bad that could be said about a person has been said about me. So between the blogs, the tweets, all that, the biggest lie, I mean, all this should be lies. And I actually poke fun. I think it's hilarious to see how loud and wrong people are. The biggest lie? Damn, I've never thought of that. A lot of it be lies.
Do any of them bother you more than the others?
No, I think the only thing that really bothers me is like when my character is attacked.
Isn't that what it all is?
Yes and no, but like when they're wrong about it, it's just like, okay. But like when they really go after like, I'll say like one of the tweets that affected me most recently, and I'm lying, it wasn't a tweet, it was a YouTube comment, which is where the most awful people exist, are YouTube comments.
Right. Are those real people?
That's what I'm saying.
Their AVIs are blank and with superhero characters.
They are living in their mother's basement in darkness and miserable, scratching the bites on their legs from the bed bugs in their bed.
Probably somewhere in the Midwest. That bad? Is that?
They're everywhere. I would say when they bring up like the people that really matter to me. So like I don't remember what I said. But someone chose to bring my mom into the comment and was like, it makes sense why she's like this since her mom was a single mom. Like, no one wanted her mom either. It was something really awful. And I was just like, that is so low, like, to bring up. Like, it was just so nasty. But yeah, they be loud and wrong.
Do you think it's better to respond?
Oh, I ain't gonna hold you. If I got the time, I'm talking about your mother. Don't have nobody on a t-shirt on your page. Don't have hashtag RIP.
So it's better to respond.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna respond because I'm petty. And I don't mind. You gonna troll me, I'm gonna troll you back. The problem is, Instagram, I'm gonna fuck them up. They have this little thing right now where people can choose to not accept comments.
Oh.
So like I'll go back, I'll be typing back, trying to talk shit to people, and it says this person doesn't accept comments from, and I'm like, you bitch. So you out here just saying whatever you want to people, but I can't respond.
And they probably don't even have their face in their profile picture.
It's one of those. Yeah, it's always one of those. Or they have freaking, Nicki Minaj because they're a barb. It's like that. She doesn't know you. The Joe Budden audience. He doesn't want you to suck his dick. You're never going to be in a room with Joe Budden. Why? The way they attack me, that whole manosphere and the barb community and just all of those awful incels, yeah, they're just pretty bad. And they hate me for no reason. They hate me because I chose to leave a network and not work with someone who they idolize anymore. So I think being a part of that network and leaving and, still maintaining some of my relationships over there and doing the public tit for tat with Joe, people are just like, yeah, they just hate me for whatever reason.
Have you made up with him?
I don't hate Joe. Me and Joe, when me and Joe were in a room, we talk.
Okay.
When I ended my podcast, me and Joe were texting each other. I was keeping him up with all the tea and what was happening behind the scenes. I don't hate Joe.
So you guys are cool.
That's a stretch. I don't hate him. I do not hate him. I have no.
And he doesn't hate you.
I don't think he hates me. Nah. I think there's a
is there love?
There's a pure level of respect for each other. Love is another
from a business like a business acumen type way,
a pure yes.
Yeah,
I think he respects how I've navigated this space. We've known each other for a very long time.
Yeah.
So he's known me in an era that I'm not so proud of, and I know him from an era that he's not so proud of.
Ooh.
So I think for where we both have excelled in the same industry and space, there's absolutely, I think, a mutual level of respect between each other. But we ain't got to be friends. We ain't got to kiki. We ain't got to invite each other to each other's birthday parties and stuff like that. But if we're in the same room, we will acknowledge each other and speak to each other.
Yeah.
And there's no hate. There'll be a hug. Hey, Joe. Hey, Mandii. And we'll keep it pushing.
You guys should start a show.
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Respect him. We'll never work with him again. And I think vice versa. I don't think me and him would ever have a working relationship again.
Never say never.
Yeah, I.
All right. I don't know if you told me you didn't want to talk about this before the pod, but we're going to talk about it.
I didn't give you nothing to talk about because I am an open book.
Okay.
And if they hate me, they're going to hate me whether I say all the best things or if I say nothing
She's
at all.
warmed up now. I could tell.
Yeah, I'm just drinking my pecan oatmeal latte.
Don't give him a shout because I don't think that was a very good one you were telling me.
Nah, this one actually isn't good. I should have just got the pumpkin one, but
yeah, they have the little Keurigs outside, but those usually aren't that good.
I'm not gonna lie. I just love. Oh no! I don't do. No. I don't like the little machines. I do have an espresso.
At home, what do you do? You do the.
I do an espresso, but I just like double espresso.
How many coffees you take in a day?
Too much. This is already probably my third,
Ooh.
and I added an extra shot of espresso in this.
Basically, you're just prolonging the inevitable crash.
Oh no. Basically, I don't give a fuck about acid reflux and my and my bowel movements.
So for you, what's the ideal relationship? Do you like a roster more? Like what's going on with you? Like what's better for you?
So that's why I think I was telling you I think I'm gonna take a break.
Oh wow!
I'm gonna take a break from drinking liquor because I've had a new epiphany in therapy that I haven't shared yet, but I'm working through that. So I'm going to give up liquor for a little bit, and then I am going to give up sex and dating. I'm going to decensor that for a while. I just think the focus and emphasis on that in relationships that are draining and not really bringing me anything, they're not fulfilling. I just want to get rid of it. And I think it's real of me to say I don't know what I want. I think earlier this year I was like, ooh, I want to be poly. I think I want to date a couple and have a boyfriend and a girlfriend. And
you're all over the place.
Yeah,
Mandii.
I am. I mean, I know I don't align with monogamy.
Didn't you do that for a while?
I was in. I thought it was ethically non-monogamous, but it wasn't
ethically
very
non-monogamous.
But it wasn't ethical
what
on
is that?
his side.
Tell me more.
Like where we have other partners.
Okay.
Sexually.
Okay. So that relationship was never exclusive sexually.
No, we went to sex clubs and we had a lot of threesomes and
yeah.
So, and I enjoy that. I enjoy women and I don't want to be cut off from that because that's what I enjoy sexually, not really romantically. And so it's only fair if I want that freedom that I allow my partner that freedom as well, but through ethical means and where we communicate and discuss it. And I am aware of what you're doing and you're aware of what I'm doing. A
Combos Court exclusive. Mandii B is now celibate for a few months. I don't know if this is going to be like very liked or maybe this might be unpopular.
Well, that's the thing. I went through a little bit of celibacy last year after my breakup with my ex.
Okay.
But it was more, it was a physical need. I was traumatized from that relationship and had like literally if I would be around a guy, if they did anything that triggered me to him, I would start crying or had anxiety attacks. It was bad. So like I literally physically could not be in the presence of a man after my ex. Yeah. So I went through celibacy for a while and then got to where I was like, okay, I'm a little better. I'm healed. I can do this. So put my little pinky toe in and then I've been having a great year this year.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, okay, let me reel it back. I want to get back to what makes sense for me and what I want.
What's the most, the name of your show is Horrible Decisions.
Yes.
What's the most horrible decision you ever made?
Starting a show called Horrible Decisions. Now, I'm just playing. Although we have battled a lot with that name. So
because of YouTube, right?
YouTube, advertisers. And to be clear too, like even just there was the reason for the name was to reclaim that term, right? Kind of like how we as Black people have reclaimed the N-word. And, there's just that trying to take away the negative connotation of it, and it was also a catchy pun at the time. But I've gone on other pods and I've absolutely hated, they'll be like, hey guys, we have a whore in the building today. And it's just like, what? Swear to God. And it's just like,
that's crazy.
Bro, that's so undermining and unfortunately.
Wait, are you allowed to put hands on them when they say something like that?
No shit. I wish I could, but now I make too much money. I think I'd be sued for assault and battery now. So I can't fight people.
That's kind of crazy though.
No, I hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I've made so many horrible decisions. And that's the thing, too. With the play on the word, horrible is not a bad thing. Like, we embrace the horrible decisions. So, I mean, I think dating a couple this year was my biggest horrible decision. Like, I really, considered dating this couple. And it was great while it lasted. It didn't last very long because they weren't on the same page. And I was like, oh, no, y'all got to get on the same page. But I thought that was kind of cool. And we had a nice little, night together.
I heard in those type of situations, the woman who joins in is supposed to be like an accessory.
Well, see, no. And that's if you're a unicorn. But I was very clear that I wanted to date both of them. I didn't want to just be an accessory. Okay. I wanted to be an addition to their relationship. I didn't want to be someone that could just be called on to add fun to the bedroom once in a blue. That wasn't something I wanted to do. Yeah. No, I didn't want to be an accessory. Okay. If I wanted to be an accessory in that way, you better pay me. Pay my bills at least. No.
How much does that go for?
I don't know. That's another thing I've been battling with. My bills are a lot. So I don't know what the going rate is for those. Yeah, and I own a studio.
What borough, may I ask?
I'm in Long Island City.
Oh, yo, you're close to me. That's crazy. I used to live there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, remember? Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So, yeah.
Nice views.
Oh, I have the big rich town view.
You go to Record Room on your free time?
That's crazy because it is now TikTok ruined it. That's another thing.
I didn't know.
That's
I don't know
another thing about this social media. Social media, well, I use it and save all the things I see. I hate when it ruins my spots, though. I hate when it ruins somewhere that's like a little duck.
Tell me more about this. What happened with Record Room?
Nothing happened with it. It's just now when you go, it's like a club. There's a line outside. Sometimes you'll go and not be able to get in on a Tuesday or Wednesday. It's packed to the brim. And I just like going into places and ordering a drink and listening to good music. I don't want to party all the time. I'm old now. I'm 27. So.
That's right. You are 27. So on the 30th birthday, you have to have a milestone dinner, even though you don't like having dinners.
I know. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right. Let's finish with this.
Yes.
What's the best decision you've ever made in your life?
Ooh. Betting on myself.
Ooh.
When the anxiety around quitting my career, I was at Ernst & Young and I'd been there for a year and, having this podcast, I was like, wow, I'm giving this company 70 to 80 hours a week, mind you, salary. I did taxes for private equity funds, hedge funds, and investment banks. And during busy season, K1 season for anyone who knows, it was fucking dreadful. And so I was like, okay, I ended up with horrible. In 5 months, I made my salary with the podcast. And I was like, wow.
What do you attribute that to, such a rapid growth of a podcast in 5 months?
We did a lot of live shows. We took ourselves on tour. So we literally
But wait a second. How'd you build an audience to get a live show when it was...
we built it through, again, we were in an audio era. I think one of our biggest boosts to our audience, this was maybe 2018, because we started in 2017. A-King, shout out to A-King from the Loudspeakers Network. He kind of peeped us and saw what we had by episode 3. Shout out to Preach 2 from Cast Sound Lab. He invited A-King over. He was like, y'all got something, but keep it going. I don't think anyone...
And it was audio based only at that time?
It was only audio.
That's crazy.
It was only audio.
That's crazy.
And I don't think anyone thought that a podcast about sex could even make it past 100 episodes because there's not that much to talk about in terms of sex.
Yeah.
And then me and her very early on had tension. So they were like, let's see if this lasts. And then we had the opportunity to join Loudspeakers. And with doing so, we got to go on Brilliant Idiots. And we literally saw our numbers jump from 15,000 to 45K a week because of that episode. Our jump damn near tripled. Our numbers just tripled.
From Joe's pod?
No. Oh. Brilliant Idiots.
Oh, Brilliant Idiots.
With Charlamagne and
Andrew and Charlamagne. Yeah.
Okay. And I think it's incredible now. We are on the Black Effect Network, which is Charlamagne's network. And it's
so that network is just audio or it's both?
It's audio. All of these deals, all of these networks are just focused on your audio numbers.
You think that helps growth more or helps you monetize more or both?
It's monetizing more. I think that networks bring you the opportunity to cross-promote across the other pods that they have, but you can cross-promote on your own. You know what I mean? Networks really just help to monetize your show based on your numbers. And like I said, it's just really dope. When we opened, we did Caroline's. And Andrew Schultz opened up for us at Caroline's. And so to see that he just sold out Madison Square Garden twice and has been touring the fucking world, I think seeing where my peers have elevated in this space over the last 8 years, it's been incredible. Same with Joe, same with the Reed, all my friends at the Friend Zone, and everyone has just really, really, we got in at a good time. I think 2017, 2018, 2016 was a really good pocket for Black and urban podcasts.
Yeah. All right, last thing.
Yes.
How has podcasting affected your life outside of the money you made in terms of becoming a better human?
Ooh. I mean, I would say therapy helped more than that.
Okay.
But I think being able to almost have a public audible journal of my journey, literally like from 26 years old to now, it's night and day. Like from the things that I said I would never do, that I didn't like it's literally changing. And so I think
kids,
that's not going to change no time soon. But I think even for the way in which I've been able to share my journey, the impact that it's had on so many of our listeners and so many people. It's funny because speaking of kids, a lot of my friends and people ask me all the time, they're like, well, you don't want kids, but what about your legacy? And I'm like, I could have birth to a fucking serial killer and they would fucking ruin my legacy. What do you mean? What I'm doing right now will live beyond me. We
100%.
have a book. We have a book dropping next year. This podcast is in the ecosphere of multimedia forever. I've been on television shows. I've done all of these things. So my legacy is the fact that I'm dropping my story, dropping knowledge and educating while also entertaining people and impacting their lives. And I think to me, that's what I want. I feel like I'm actually making a difference. Where, yeah, cool, having a kid might add to the population. I think what I'm doing makes far more of a difference and leaves a stronger legacy than having a child.
Yeah, after you're not here anymore, people will still be able to watch your videos.
They will still be able to see my growth. They can still go all the way back to episode 1 and continue watching. I think we are maybe 8 episodes away from 400 episodes.
Ooh.
And that's just on the main feed. We have over 200 on Patreon.
You think you got your 10,000 hours with everything?
Oh, God, have I? Absolutely. But yeah, we've damn near recorded and released almost 600 episodes of content. That is...
It's crazy.
Insane.
Yeah.
And that's just one of my pods. I have a whole nother pod that released well over 300-400 pieces of content as well. Now that one, I'm trying to scrub off the internet. But I've done so many things that, again, it's my decision what I'm leaving out here. And I love it.
Your legacy. I love it. Mandii, thanks for taking the time, especially on your birthday.
Oh, no. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Where can they find you? Everybody knows already.
Yes, but so you can follow me everywhere, Full Court Pumps. You can also listen to me every Monday. Horrible Decisions, type in horror, we pop up. That's WHOREIBLE. You can also follow me on YouTube at Mandii B TV, and there'll be more vlogs and things coming there soon.
Mandii, you're cool. Don't let anybody tell you different, all right?
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Have a good one. Peace.